What remains when everything changes? What remains? The mug you bought me is still on the shelf, the one with the handle that was slightly off center, that you thought was charming, and I agreed. After initially thinking it was a flaw, it's still on the shelf, and I still use it on Sundays, not as a shrine, not as a statement, just because it holds coffee and I like it. And I've thought about that, about the ordinariness of grief, about how it lives in the mugs and the shelf placement, and the habit of reaching for the same cup on the same morning of the week. Not because it holds you, but because it holds coffee, and coffee is what Sunday mornings need. And the mug is what holds the coffee, and you are in that chain, unremarkably, permanently, in the most ordinary of ways. People ask if I'm over it, which is a question that assumes grief has a finish line, that there's a point past which the mug is just a mug again. And the Sunday morning is just a Sunday morning with no additional weight. But that's not how I've experienced it. In my experience, the mug stays a mug that holds both coffee and a small amount of everything, both ordinary and charged, both useful and significant. And over it isn't the right phrase. What happens is you grow around it. The way a tree grows around a fence post, you become someone who contains both the loss and the continuing of your life. And both are real, and neither cancels the other. I went to the city where we used to meet on a work trip in the autumn, and I walked past the restaurant on the way to somewhere else, and I felt it land in my chest, the way familiar things land when they're suddenly in front of you. Unexpected in the middle of an otherwise ordinary, purpose-driven walk. And I stood on the sidewalk for a moment that probably looked like someone checking their phone, but was actually someone taking the temperature of their own heart, which read, still warm, still carrying something, still not nothing. And then I put the phone away and walked to where I was going and got dinner by myself at a different restaurant. And it was fine, it was actually fine. And also the restaurant you and I used to go to is still the restaurant you and I used to go to. Both things at once, simultaneously. That's what remains. What remains is not the loss alone. What remains is everything we made. The good of it, the real of it, the warm of it that hasn't yet decayed. What remains is more than absence. What remains is something true. What remains, what always will remain, is everything that came from loving you. What remains is the shape of the thing that don't disappear when people do. What remains is the version of myself that grew in the direction of you. What remains is the knowing and the depth, the capacity for love I didn't have before. What remains is richer than the loss. What remains is worth holding on to more. I'm a different person than I was before you. Not a better or worse version, different. The way any significant encounter changes the shape of the person it passes through. And the changes aren't all visible, some of them are structural. The way I listen now, the way I ask questions, the patience I developed, because patience is what you required and I rose to it. And now I have it, even in rooms where you're not present, even in years that are entirely after you. The patience is still mine. You can't ungive someone's patience. It stays. There are things I started doing because of you that I've continued without you. The long walks without destination, the habit of sitting in parks and watching people with genuine curiosity rather than the peripheral politeness I used to give the world when I was moving through it faster than it deserved. The reading before bed, the writing things down, the practice of ending a day with an honest accounting of what it contained. That's yours, you taught me that by doing it yourself so consistently that I absorbed it without either of us naming it as a lesson. What remains is the lesson. What remains is the practice. What remains is the person it made me. What remains is not the grief alone. What remains is everything we shared. The texture of the ordinary days, the evidence that someone cared. What remains is more than memory. What remains is something built. What remains will be with me always, not with pain, not with guilt, just with love. What remains is the shape of it.
Candlelit quiet. Late evening. Somewhere in the quiet, I find you. Every time the apartment is dark, except the lamp by the door. And the city outside sounds like it always does. At 11 on a weeknight in November, a distant siren, someone's face turned. On a street 2 blocks east, and I'm sitting here with the second glass of wine. I didn't need but poured anyway, because the evening felt like it deserved something warmer than water. And I'm thinking about you the way I always do. When the noise thins out enough for the actual thinking to begin, not the surface thinking, not the managed kind, that I do in rooms with other people, but the deep unprompted kind that finds its own direction without interference from the performance of being fine. I I've been fine, by the way. By any external measure, I've been fine. The work is good, the friends are close. The apartment has a plant now that's still alive, which I consider a personal achievement of some significance. But fine is not the same as whole, and whole is what I'm working toward. And whole keeps coming back to you, not in the way of need or longing, but in the way of incompleteness. The way a sentence with no period keeps wanting its conclusion. You are the period I've been circling without knowing how to land. I had a conversation with my sister on Thursday. She asked if I was happy, and I gave her the answer I give everyone, which is close to yes without being exactly yes. And she knows me well enough to hear the difference, but she also knows me well enough to know when not to push. So she let it go and we talked about other things, and I spent the rest of the call listening with half my attention and spending the other half in the quiet place where I keep the unprocessed things, the things that need more room than conversation allows, the things I come to in the evenings when the wine is on and the city hums and the wine is warmer than water. Somewhere in the quiet I find everything I've been avoiding saying. Somewhere in the quiet the honest version of my life comes forward without asking. Somewhere in the quiet it's always you. Somewhere in the quiet between the noise and sleep. Somewhere in the quiet where I'm allowed to feel the deep and real and unusual of what's true. Somewhere in the quiet always find my way back to you. Back to you, back to you. I don't know what to do with that. The returning, the consistent returning to the same place every evening when the quiet comes. I've tried other routes, other thoughts to occupy the in-between, between the day and sleep. And they work, most of them work for a while, for the duration of their usefulness. And then the quiet comes back. And the quiet is always you. And the quiet is the specific warmth of the particular evening in January when you fell asleep on the couch during the film we were watching, and I turned the volume down and just sat there in the new quiet watching you sleep and thought, this is the thing, this specific, ordinary, unremarkable thing is the thing I want to build my whole life around. immaculate quality of it, the way it was full rather than empty, full of your breathing, and the lamp and the city outside, and the feeling of being exactly where I was supposed to be, in the only room in the world that was the right room. I'll be your lantern in whatever dark you're in. I'll be your lantern. You came to me in October when everything was stripped down to the bone. The leaves had gone and taken the color with them, and you were carrying something heavy and alone. I didn't ask too many questions at first. I just made room, made space, made tea, and sat close enough to be of use, but not so close I couldn't let you breathe. Because I've been on the receiving end of help that felt more like pressure, of care that came with instructions, and what I wanted for you was easier than that, lighter, freer. Just here is a lantern, here is a small manageable amount of light for however long the dark requires one. I watched you that first month move through your days like someone learning to walk again in weather they weren't built for. And I didn't try to hurry the recovery, because recovery doesn't hurry for anyone. And the people who try to rush it usually mean well and always do damage. So I just kept the lantern steady, kept the light reliable and undemanding, just here, just burning, just a variable without agenda, without timeline, just light. And you started moving toward it, not because I asked you to, but because light does what light does. It draws the willing toward it, slowly in their own time, in their own direction. I'll be your lantern when the path goes dark. Close enough to your heart. I'll be your lantern, not to lead you where I want you, just to light enough of what's ahead, so you can find your own way there. Lantern, lantern, I'll keep it burning for you. Lantern, lantern, as long as you need. By December you were talking more about the things that had happened and the weather. Not just the surface of the story, but the roots, the actual origin of the weight you'd been carrying. And I listened like I was memorizing, not the facts but the shape of the feeling, in particular way the story moved through your body when you told it, the places where it caught, where it released, where it still required tenderness. And I stored all of it carefully, because the careful storage of someone's story is its own form of devotion. By January there were nights when you laughed at something fully, not the careful laugh, not the performing recovery laugh, the full one, the unguarded one that filled the room with something that hadn't been in the room before. And I felt it like a sign, not a signal that we were done, but a signal that the lantern had done what lanterns do. Not replaced the dark, but made it navigable, made it survivable, made it something you could walk through into something better. And you kept moving toward the light, not because I asked you to, but because you were always going to. You were always gonna find your way through. I was just the lantern, you were always the one walking. I'll be your lantern when the path goes dark. I'll hold the light steady, close enough to your heart. I'll be your lantern, not to lead you where I want you, just to light enough of what's ahead so you can find your own way there. Lantern, lantern, I'll keep it burning for you. Lantern, lantern, as long as you need to. And here is the beautiful secret of being a lantern for someone you love. The light it gives them comes back to you, changed, warmer, fuller, because having been of use. In the truest and most practical sense, in the keeping the light on sense. Candlelit quiet, late evening, somewhere in the quiet I find you. Every time the apartment is dark, except the lamp by the door, and the city outside sounds like it always does. At 11 on a weeknight in November, a distant siren, someone's bass turned up on a street 2 blocks east. And I'm sitting here with a second glass of wine I didn't need, but poured anyway, because the evening felt like it deserved something warmer than water. And I'm thinking about you the way I always do. When the noise thins out enough for the actual thinking to begin. Not the surface thinking, not the managed kind that I do in rooms with other people, but the deep unprompted kind that finds its own direction without interference from the performance of being fine. I've been fine, by the way. By any external measure, I've been fine. The work is good, the friends are close, the apartment has a plant now that's still alive, which I consider a personal achievement of some significance. But fine is not the same as whole, and whole is what I'm working toward, and whole keeps coming back to you, not in the way of need or longing, but in the way of incompleteness, the way a sentence with no period keeps wanting its conclusion. You are the period I've been circling without knowing how to land. I had a conversation with my sister on Thursday. She asked if I was happy, and I gave her the answer I give everyone, which is close to yes, without being exactly yes. And she knows me well enough to hear the difference, but she also knows me well enough to know when not to push, so she let it go. And we talked about other things, and I spent the rest of the call listening with half my attention and spending the other half in the quiet place where I keep the unprocessed things, the things that need more room than conversationalize, the things I come to in the evenings when the lamp is on and the city hums and the wine is warmer than water. Somewhere in the quiet I find everything I've been avoiding saying. Somewhere in the quiet the honest version of my life comes forward without asking. Somewhere in the quiet it's always you. Somewhere in the quiet between the noise and sleep. Somewhere in the quiet where I'm allowed to feel the deep and real and unrehearsed vision of what's true. Somewhere in the quiet I always find my way back to you. Back to you. Back to you. I don't know what to do with that. The returning, the consistent returning to the same place every evening when the quiet comes. I've tried other routes, other thoughts to occupy the in-between, between the day and sleep, and they work. Most of them work for a while, for the duration of their usefulness, and then the quiet comes back, and in the quiet is always you. In the quiet is the specific warmth of the particular evening in January when you fell asleep on the couch during the film we were watching, and I turned the volume down and just sat there in the new too quiet watching you sleep and thought, this is the thing. This specific, ordinary, unremarkable thing is the thing I wanna build my whole life around. The film was unremarkable. I don't remember what it was, but I remember the quiet. After I turned the volume down, I remember the particular quality edit, the way it was full rather than empty, full of your breathing, and the lamp and the city outside, and the feeling of being exactly where I was supposed to be, in the only room in the world that was the right room. And I have been looking for that room every evening since, and not finding it, because the room was never the room was you. Somewhere in the quiet, the truth keeps arriving. Somewhere. Between the words, there is everything. Listen to the between. Some of the most important things we said were in the pauses between the sentences, in the half breath before the real answer, in the way the question hung in the air for a second longer than it needed to. If the answer was something simple, the space between your words is where I heard you most clearly, where the careful language fell away and something truer came through, like light through a gap in the curtain, thin but unmistakable, warmer than it looks. You asked me once carefully whether I was happy, and the word happy sat between us while I tried to find the honest answer, the one underneath the automatic yes, the one that lived in the space between what I'd been saying and what was true. And the pause itself was the beginning of the answer, the length of it, the texture of it. You read it, I think, before I spoke. You said, take your time, and I thought, there it is. There is someone who can hear the silence the way a musician hears the rest as part of the composition. The space between the words is where we really live. The space between the words is where we really give and receive and meet in the honest place beneath the speaking. The space between the words is where I find you. The space between the words, that's where the real conversation happens. The space between the words, that's where we come on and whole again. Not in the careful phrasing, not in the polished saying, but in the breath before the pause between the honest silence of two people who have stopped performing for each other. The space between words, that's where I love you most. I've had conversations where the words were plentiful and perfectly constructed, and I walked away emptier than when I'd sat down. And I've had conversations where almost nothing was said, and I walked away so full that the rest of the day was spent just sitting with what I'd received. The difference is not the number of words, it's the honesty of the silence around them. It's whether the silence is comfortable or managed, whether the pauses are real or just the performer breathing between their lines. You and I have learned the language of our silences, the particular varieties of them, the good faking violence, the processing, something hard silence, the I'm with you and it's enough silence, the rare and precious, I don't have words for how glad I am to be here silence, the last one we've had on maybe 6 occasions, and each time it landed I felt more known than anything that was actually spoken could have made me feel. The space between the words is where we really live. The space between the words is where we learn to give ourselves completely without the cover of the speaking. The space between the words is where I find you. The space between the words, that's where the real conversation happens. The space between the words, that's where we come undone and whole again. Not in the careful phrasing, not in the polished saying, but in the breath before the pause between the honest silence of two people who have stopped performing for each other. The space between words is where I love you most. Silence used to frighten me in the context of another person, because I'd been taught that silence meant something had gone wrong, that it meant discomfort or distance or the absence of interest, that it meant someone had nothing left to say to you. And having nothing left to say meant you had run out of connection, run out of relevance to each other. But I've unlearned that completely in your company specifically, because our silences are full. They are full the way a room is full when it's occupied by people who are comfortable there. Not empty, not awkward, just quiet, just breathing together, just existing in the same space without requiring to be filled. And that is such a profound form of trust, the willingness to be quiet together, to be fully present without the armor of conversation, to sit in the space between words and let it be exactly what it is. So when people ask what we talk about, I wanna say everything and also nothing. I wanna say the words are not really the point. The point is the quality of the space between them. The point is that we've created a space where the between is as safe as the said, where the unsaid is not a wound, but a breath, a natural part of the rhythm of two people in genuine communion. The space between words is where we live. The space between words, that's where the real conversation happens. The space between the words, that's where we come undone and whole. I'll be your lantern in whatever dark you're in. I'll be your lantern in October, when everything was stripped down to the bone. The leaves had gone and taken the color with them, and you were carrying something heavy and alone. I didn't ask too many questions at first. I just made room, made space, made tea, and sat close enough to be of use, but not so close I couldn't let you breathe. 'Cause I've been on the receiving end of help that felt more like pressure, of care that came with instructions, and what I wanted for you was easier than that. Lighter, freer, just here is a lantern, here is a small manageable amount of light, for however long the dark requires one. I watched you that first month, move through your days like someone learning to walk again in weather they weren't built for. And I didn't try to hurry your recovery, because recovery doesn't hurry for anyone, and the people who try to rush it usually mean well and always do damage. So I just kept the lantern steady, kept the light reliable and undemanding, just here, just burning, just available, without agenda, without timeline, just light. And you started moving toward it, not because I asked you to, but because light does what light does. It draws the willing toward it, slowly in their own time, in their own direction. I'll be your lantern. When the path goes dark, I'll hold the light steady, close enough to your heart. I'll be your lantern, not to lead you where I want you, just to light enough of what's ahead, so you can find your own way there. Lantern, lantern, I'll keep it burning for you. Lantern, lantern, as long as you need me to. By December you were talking more about the things that had happened and the why of them, not just the surface of the story, but the roots, the actual origin of the weight you'd been carrying. And I listened like I was memorizing, not the facts, but the shape of the feeling, the particular way the story moved through your body when you told it, the places where it caught, where it released, where it still required tenderness. And I stored all of it carefully, because the careful storage of someone's story is its own form of devotion. By January there were nights when you laughed at something fully, not the careful laugh, not the performing recovery laugh, the full one, the unguarded one that filled the room with something that hadn't been in the room before. And I felt it like a sign, not a signal that we were done, but a signal that the lantern had done what lanterns do. Not replace the dark, but made it navigable, made it survivable, made it something you could walk through into something better. And you kept moving toward the light, not because I asked you to, but because you were always going to. You were always gonna find your way through. I was just the lantern. You were always the one walking. I'll be your lantern. When the path goes dark, I'll hold the light steady, close enough to your heart. I'll be your lantern, not to lead you where I want you, just to light enough of what's ahead, so you can find your own way there. Lantern, lantern, I'll keep it burning for you. Lantern, lantern, as long as you need me to. And here's the beautiful secret of being a lantern. For someone you love, the light it gives them comes back to you, changed, warmer, fuller, because having been of use, in the truest and most practical sense, in the keeping the light on sense, in the staying when it was dark sense, fills something in you that you didn't know was empty. And I would do it again, 1,000 different Octobers. I would make the room and make the tea and keep the lantern steady, not because I needed something in return, but because loving someone is the great
Right, roll the silly, opening slowly. I found your frequency, and I've been tuned to it ever since. There are people you meet, and the meeting is pleasant, and the pleasant is all there is, and that's fine, that's sufficient for the kind of connection that an evening or a meeting requires. But there are other meetings that land differently, that arrive at a frequency your whole body receives before your mind has processed that anything unusual is happening. And you walked into that Thursday like any other Thursday, and the room rearranged itself so quietly I almost didn't notice. Almost. But something in me was already tuning, already adjusting the dial towards you before I'd said a word. I've been thinking about frequency since, about the fact the voice of what we call connection is actually resonance. Two things vibrating at compatible rates, and when the rates are compatible, the resonance is effortless. It doesn't require construction. It's not a project. It's recognition. And I recognize your frequency. but have learned to trust. You speak at a rate that I find comfortable, not too fast, not performance speed, not the kind of rapid fire that I've always found exhausting, as if speaking quickly is evidence of intelligence rather than just evidence of speed. You speak at the rate of thought, which is slower than that and more interesting. And you listen at an even slower rate, which is where you listen like you're taking something in rather than waiting to respond. And I find that I speak differently when someone is actually listening. I say things I didn't know I thought. I follow thoughts further than I usually dare, because you're still there at the end of them, still listening at the rate of thought, still receiving at your frequency. Your frequency is the one I've been searching for in every conversation, in every room. Your frequency is the one that makes the whole world go a little quieter. Your frequency is home. The frequency of you is the one my whole life's been tuning toward. The frequency of you is the resonance I've been looking for. Every other station felt like static, every other signal incomplete, but the frequency of you is where everything finally makes sense, where everything finally breathes. The frequency of you. We talked for 4 hours, the first real time. Not the party conversation, the real one, the one after everyone had left and we were helping clean up, and the cleaning stopped and the conversation didn't. And 4 hours went by like 20 minutes, which is the clearest sign of frequency compatibility that I know. When time behaves differently in someone's presence, when it loses its usual accountability. When you look up and 3 hours have become 4 and neither of you notice the disappearance, that is the frequency working. That is the resonance doing what resonance does. You told me something in hour 3 that you're furthest person. I don't usually tell people this, and I understood exactly what you meant, because there are things that require a specific frequency to be received safely, things that have been mishandled before in lower bandwidth conversations, things that you've learned to gate behind a layer of the ordinary, until the ordinary proves itself more significant. And you opened the gate in hour 3 and gave me the more significant, and I held it the way it deserved to be held, carefully with both hands, with full attention, and something settled in your expression when I did the specific frequency. If they can receive at the right frequency. Your frequency is the one I've been searching for everything changes, what remains? The mug you bought me is still on the shelf. The one with the handle that was slightly off-center that you thought was charming, and I agreed. After initially thinking it was a flaw, it's still on the shelf, and I still use it on Sundays. Not as a shrine, not as a statement, just because it holds coffee and I like it. And I've thought about that. About the ordinariness of grief, about how it lives in the mugs and the shelf placement, and the habit of reaching for the same cup on the same morning of the week, not because it holds you, but because it holds coffee, and coffee is what Sunday mornings need, and the mug is what holds the coffee, and you are in that chain, unremarkably, permanently, in the most ordinary of ways. People ask if I'm over it, which is a question that assumes grief has a finish line, that there's a point past which the mug is just a mug again, and the Sunday morning is just a Sunday morning, with no additional weight. But that's not how I've experienced it. In my experience, the mug stays a mug that holds both coffee and a small amount of everything, both ordinary and charged, both useful and significant, and over it isn't the right phrase. What happens is you grow around it, the way a tree grows around a fence post. You become someone who contains both the loss and the continuing of your life, and both are real, and neither cancels the other. I went to the city where we used to meet, on a work trip in the autumn, and I walked past the restaurant on the way to somewhere else, and I felt it land in my chest, the way familiar things land when they're suddenly in front of you, unexpected, in the middle of an otherwise ordinary purpose-driven walk. And I stood on the sidewalk for a moment that probably looked like someone checking their phone, but was actually someone taking the temperature of their own heart, which read, still warm, still carrying something, still not nothing. And then I put the phone away and walked to where I was going, and got dinner by myself at a different restaurant. And it was fine, it was actually fine. And also the restaurant you and I used to go to is still the restaurant you and I used to go to. Both things at once, simultaneously. That's what remains. What remains is not the loss alone. What remains is everything we made. The good of it, the real of it, the warm of it that hasn't yet decayed. What remains is more than absence. What remains is something true. What remains, what always will remain, is everything that came from loving you. What remains is the shape of the thing disappear when people do. What remains is the version of myself that grew in the direction of you. What remains is the knowing and the depth, the capacity for love I didn't have before. What remains is richer than the loss. What remains is worth holding on to more. I'm a different person than I was before you. Not a better or worse version, different. The way any significant encounter changes the shape of the person it passes through. And the changes aren't all visible. Some of them are structural. The way I listen now, the way I ask questions, the patience I developed. Because patience is what you required, and I rose to it, and now I have it. Even in rooms where you're not present, even in years that are entirely after you, the patience is still mine. You can't ungive someone patience. It stays. There are things I started doing because of you that I've continued without you. The long walks without destination, the habit of sitting in parks and watching people with genuine curiosity, rather than the peripheral politeness I used to give the world when I was moving through it faster than it deserved. The